Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to our online teaching academy, Ekaleva. Today my topic is optics. So subject physics, class 10th, topic is optics. So in this optics already we study about so many things. In the last class we discussed about scattering of a light. Scattering of a light and types of scattering and what is Rayleigh scattering and Meade scattering. Today we are going to see about Tyndall scattering. This is one type of scattering. So what is Tyndall scattering? Let's see. So see this picture. What did you observe from this picture? So it's a dark room only now. So when the beam of sunlight enter into that dark room through the window, the path of the light is visible to us. We can able to see the path of a light? Yes, of course, we can able to see the path of the light. So how it is possible? Because of that dark room contains a enormous number of dusty particles present in it. So the dusty particles act as a scatter. So that scatter going to be scattering that light, then only we can able to see that path of the light. This is one of the example of Tyndall scattering. Let's see one more example of Tyndall scattering. See this example. So consider it's a glass beaker and pour some water in that glass beaker. So now the glass beaker contains the water. Now I am going to shine that beaker through the source of light. In this place I am going to take the torchlight as a source of light. So the source of light incident on the beaker, we cannot able to see that path of the light, but we can observe that emergent light here. We can observe that emergent light from the beaker. In the same example, I am going to add some of milk in that water. I am going to adding some of milk in that water. Again, I am going to shine that water through that source of light. In this place, we can able to see that path of the light. So what did you observe from this experiment? Which means, first thing is, we cannot observe that path of a light because the water contains a very small particles. That particles cannot able to do that scattering process. But while we are adding that milk into that water, so the milk contains a large particle compared with the water. So that milk particles able to do that scattering process. That's why we can able to see that path of a light inside that colloidal solution. So this effect is called as Tyndall effect, or we can say it is called as Tyndall scattering. See this definition here. The scattering of light rays by the colloidal particle. Who is the colloidal particle in this place? That is milk particle. In the colloidal solution is called as Tyndall scattering, or we can say it's a Tyndall effect. In a simple word, how to describe that Tyndall effect? The scattering of light through the liquid, we can able to see that path of the light. That is the Tyndall scattering. Next important scattering is Raman scattering. This one was observed by our great Indian physicist Sir C.V. Raman in the year of 1928. Thereof 1928 he observed that scattering that we called as a Raman scattering. So first we should know what is that. So Raman scattering, that means when a parallel beam of monochromatic light You know very well what is that monochromatic? So monochromatic light, which means a single color. So when the parallel beam of monochromatic light passes through the any sample, whether it may be liquid, solid or gaseous particle, when the beam, the particle able to scatter that process, that we called as a Raman scattering. So that scattering light contains some additional frequency or wavelength other than that incident frequency, that one we can say as a Raman scattering. So see this define, what is the actual define of Raman scattering? So the interaction of light rays, for example, I am considering here is a liquid sample. It is a liquid sample. When the monochromatic light, that means the parallel beam of monochromatic light passes through that liquid solution, so the particles able to do that scattering process. So during that scattered light have some frequency in it. That scattered light have some frequency in it. So that frequency, or we can say that variable frequency, is called as Raman scattering. Let's see. Define the interaction of light rays with the particle. That particle of pure liquid or transparent solid, example is prismols, transparent solid, which leads to change in the wavelength or frequency. The scattered lights have changes in that frequency as well as the wavelength. So first one is what he observed is Rayleigh line. What is meant by Rayleigh line? See this diagram is a Rayleigh scattering. So Rayleigh scattering, in this process the atoms or molecules present in the liquid in the ground state, I am considering here in this place atoms or we can say molecules present in that excited ground state. I am giving that highly incident photon, example is laser. So highly incident photon pass it on that atoms or molecules present in the ground state. That photon, that electrons observe that incident photon, it is not able to sit in that stationary place. So because they are getting that energy, no, it starts vibrating. It starts vibrating from the ground state to excited state. So this excited state we called as a virtual state. So virtual means it is not a true state, we can say is a false state, because the it is not have a stable state in it. So the electrons come back into that initial position, come back into that initial position of the ground. So during that process some of the energies, some of the radiations are emitted when the electrons comes from the higher level to lower level. During that time it emits the some energy, that energy we represented as a h nu, energy is called as h nu. So see this, Rayleigh line, the spectral lines having a frequency equal to that of incident frequency, that one we called as a Rayleigh line. See this here, it starts from the ground state, again it reaches that same initial state, so that one is called as a Rayleigh line. There is no energy losses in this scattering. So that is why incident ray and scattered ray, both energies are equal. And next one is Raman lines. So what is Raman lines? The spectral lines which are having frequency other than the incident frequency is called as Raman line, which means some energies are, we can say some frequencies are changed. The scattered frequencies are changed. That frequencies is called as a Raman lines. These Raman lines are classified into two types. One is Stokes line, another one is anti-Stokes line. Stokes lines, another one is anti-Stokes lines. Let's see the explanation of Stokes and anti-Stokes lines. First, see this example picture, Stokes Raman scattering. The same example is the electrons in the ground state. Now, the electron present in that ground state is the stationary state of the electron. Now, I am going to give some energy to that electrons, that is highly incident photon. Already I said, no, what is that? Laser. So, the incident photon pass it on that electron. Electron observe that energy. It starts moving from the ground state. It reaches that excited state. So, this is the excited state. It is not a stable state. Again, the electrons comes from the higher level to lower level, but it does not reaches the initial position. See this? Does not reaches that initial position. So, during that process, it emits some energy. During the process, it emits some energy. That energy we called as the h nu. H nu. And the same way, the remaining electrons present in that ground state get scattered. So, during this process, see this. So, the lines of frequency, the spectral lines of frequency lower than the incident frequency. So, lower than the incident frequency is called as Stokes lines. Similarly, in this place also, now the electron present in the excited state of ground level. This is the important one. Where it is present? The electron now present in the excited state of ground level. In the same way, the electron absorb that energy from the source. Electron absorb that energy, starts vibrating from that excited state of ground. It reaches the virtual excited state and return back to that initial ground state of that portion, vibrational energy state. So, during that time also it emits some radiation. So, this is called as anti-Stokes lines. So, that what is that anti-Stokes lines means? That a scattered frequency higher than the, see this, the scattered frequencies higher than the incident frequency, that one we called as a anti-Stokes Raman scattering. Next one is uses. What is the uses of Raman scattering? This Raman scattering is widely used in many places. It's mainly used in all branches of science, mainly in chemistry as well as biology. And next thing is, in industries also, Raman spectroscopy is widely used. It is used to study that structure of the material. And in chemistry, the Raman spectroscopy used to find the chemical composition and then properties of the material. And is mostly used in that biology part also. The Raman spectroscopy help us to study the biomedical issues, yearly detection of cancers and then identification of pathological microorganism. So, the Raman spectroscopy is a very important one to study those things. So, in our next class, we are going to discuss about lenses. So, what is lens and how the lenses are formed, and then how the images are formed in the lenses. In the next class, we are going to discuss the lens in detail. To receive our online lesson, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates.
SRMJV is not just a school, it's a one-time experience.
VM Nagar, Tiruvallur,